What's up, YouTube fans? Lynn Analyst here back to the video, and today I'm coming to you guys with a brand new video today. So, in this video, we're going to be giving off-season grades to all of the NBA teams. Off-season grades to all the NBA teams. Now, I'm going to try to make this video not too long, but a good length, because I want to give an explanation on why I'm giving the particular team the grade that they're going to be getting. So let's start off with the Miami Heat. Okay, the Miami Heat are getting a C- for this offseason. A C-. They did not get better. They lost PJ Tucker. They didn't add a replacement for PJ, let alone they needed to add they needed to add a power forward. They needed some power forward depth. I know they have Amir Yurtseven, Dwayne Dedman. I know they have Nikola Jovic, but you need forward depth. You should have gotten aggressive for the Hawks, John Collins, even though it was going to cost an arm and a leg to get him. You should have gotten aggressive for like a Jeremy Grant. You should have gotten aggressive. And then you should have even gotten in contact with maybe the Wizards and acquired Kyle Kuzma or one of their younger forwards, Rui Hachimura. You need to do anything you can to complete that roster. You were this close to going to the finals and possibly winning the finals, and you lost a key guy, very key guy, to an Eastern Conference rival, and you didn't replace him, nor did you get better this offseason. So you get a C+. I'll give you a C because you did draft Nikola Jovic, which I think was a great pick there. Next, I got the Hawks. I'll give him an A. I'm not giving him an A-, I'm not giving him an A+. I'll give him an A. Why? Because I feel like you add an all-star for a non-rotational player, you give away non-valuable picks, and you add defense. You add the two Holiday brothers, you add Mo Harkless, you add Big Frank the Tank, Frank Kaminsky, you add Trent Forrest, you draft AJ Griffin, Tyrese Martin, so you add depth. And I think that is the definition of a great offseason. You add a better assistant coach as far as defense. You're going to get more creative on offense. You add it to the front office. You add it to the developmental staff. That is a recipe for a great offseason. Moving on to the Boston Celtics, A+, no question about it, A+. You draft J.D. Davison, who I think is really good. If he gets some rotational minutes, could be something that hey, maybe you're looking at a really good player. Next up on the list, and I didn't even mention Malcolm Brogdon. Getting Malcolm Brogdon for absolutely nothing, pretty much, and then getting Danilo Gallinari after San Antonio waived him after the trade. By the way, guys, I just got to throw it in there since I brought the Hawks back in the situation. I got my John Collins. Repping John Collins. Don't mind, I got pain in my hands. Listen, John Collins doing that nasty dunk on Joel Embiid. I got that shirt on. But anyways, moving on. Boston Celtics, A+ for this offseason. The Milwaukee Bucks, A- for this offseason. Why did I give them an A-? I could have very well easily given them an A or an A+, but I just feel like bringing back George Hill was not needed. George Hill was not very good for the Bucks. I feel like you should have got a better replacement. I feel like you could have gotten more aggressive to get maybe a better type of point guard, like maybe a Facundo Campazzo, or bring back Eric Bledsoe. Go out there and get Frank Jackson, Dennis Smith, someone that can be a little bit more effective than George Hill. But you added Joe Ingles. You're gonna have a healthy Middleton. You drafted Marjon Beauchamp, who I love. And I think that the team is gonna be better. You add a guy like Marjon, and then you add a guy like Joe Ingles. You needed wing depth, big wing depth. and you added that. So I think that when you count into the fact that you're going to be fully healthy going into next season, you're going to be a scary team. This is a championship caliber team. So A- for them. Sixers next on the list. A-. I think that the Sixers did a very good job this offseason. The reason why I'm giving them an A-, they would have had an A+, if they would add a legit backup big. If they would have added a backup big, they would have easily had an A+ offseason. I think that you need to go out and get competitive and get a backup big. We're bringing a guy like Hassan Whiteside, Marcus Aldridge, Dwight Howard if you want to bring him back, or maybe like a Greg Monroe. Bring in a guy that can come right in, and be a rim protector off the bench. You saw last year with Andre Drummond. It was crucial to have a guy off the bench that could clean up the boards and could be a rebounder and could protect the rim while Joel was off the floor. Bring in DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, he can even do the dirty work. Tristan Thompson is a guy I like too. He's more of like a small forward, but he plays big, so I also like him. But adding DeAnthony Melton, I think, was good. I think that was really a move that no one's talking about. I love DeAnthony Melton. I think that he adds a little bit of toughness, of what they've been needing. I like DeAnthony Melton for my Hawks to get, but I love DeAnthony. And then adding PJ Tucker, that's gonna help. You got the bench better, like something that the Sixers lacked, especially after the trade to get James, was the bench. You had Daniel House, So I think that adds some depth, some more options for Philadelphia. The Toronto Raptors, a B+. Toronto is one of those weird teams. I would like to see them add one or two more rotational pieces, but I think that you add Otto Porter, you add DJ Wilson and Juancho Hernan-Gomez, you draft Christian Coloco. It's a pretty good offseason. I might want to boost it right up to an A, but I'll keep it at a B- right now because I still feel like you need like one more shooter. Your shooters on your team right now are Fred and Gary Trent. So I think you need one more shooter. If you can add one more shooter, it didn't have to be a non-defensive minded shooter. It can be like I would have went after KCP if I was the Raptors. So I would have went after a KCP. Or I would have went after a guy like Nasir Little, brought in a guy like Gary Payton. Just one of those grimy guys, but that can give you some guard depth and some shooting. But, it's okay. I still think they got better. The Nets, take out the drama. I think they got better. Adding T.J. Warren, if he's healthy, I think that he can be a really big piece to them. Adding Edmund Sumner, I think that can also be a good piece. Royce O'Neal, adding him. So I think that they had a solid offseason. I'll give them a B-. The Cavs, I will give the Cavs an A for this offseason. They did everything they needed to do. Now, are they a playoff team? I don't think so. But the roster, if the East was a lot more balanced, I think they are a playoff team. But the rosters, they got better. They added Ochai Agbaji, who a guy I really like. You drafted Evan Mobley's brother. You drafted another guy. I can't remember his name. It's a weird name anyway. And then you bring back Ricky Rubio, who was great. You bring him back on a 3-year deal. Then he has injury history. So instead of having to go out and use assets to go out and acquire another guard just in case he goes down, you go and take care of that. You sign another guard, Ruel Neto, a guy I really like. And who's going to help them? You sign a backup big, Robin Lopez, who's going to come right in and play well for that team. So I think that when you look at that, I think the Cavs got better, and then you just mesh that with Okoro, Garland, Marketing, and LeVert, and Jared Allen, and Love, and Mobley. So you just mix it in with those guys. And I think that they're gonna be really good. Now, I would like to see them bring back Brandon Goodwin, former Hawk. But hey, I think that the roster as it sits is a very good team. But hey, if they can bring Sexton back, I think that'd be good too. But even if they don't, I think that the roster that they have, is worth looking at and can really, really compete. And I think that is, I think that that's the main thing. That they have a good competitive roster that's going to give a lot of teams trouble in the East. Moving on to the next team. I gotta get to some other teams. The Pacers, C-. Adding a guy like what's that kid's name? Benedict Mathurin. Adding him is a really good piece. I think him and Tyrese Halliburton can really develop along with Chris Duarte and Jalen Smith and Neesmith and O'Shea Brissett and all those guys. But this was the offseason you needed to move Brockton and get something better back. You should have gotten more picks back. You should have found a team with a big trade exception, trade him there and get picks. Picks. You're rebuilding. Move Buddy for picks. Move Miles Turner for picks. That was the type of deal that you very well needed, but that's okay. And then, you took a swing at Ayton. I think that's why, but you failed because you had to waive some really nice guys like Dwayne Washington and those guys. So I think that's a loss. So just a C. Hornets, you get an F+. The plus comes from drafting Mark Williams. I'm going to be really quick on this. The Hornets absolutely stink. They did not get better. They did not. Many opportunities to get better. You're not going to win anything. You were a play-in team. 10th seed last year. And you lose Miles Bridges. And you did not get better beyond that. That's not a good offseason. F+. Pistons, A. Not an A-, not an A+. A, you add Jalen Duren. You draft Jaden Ivey. Those are two really good guys. You add some veteran presence in there along with, Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel. You got Killian Hayes and Hamidou Diallo. You got Isaiah Stewart. You added Kevin Knox, Sadiq. I always said Sadiq. And then, Isaiah Livers showed some promise. I like him. But, Marvin Bagley, who took a step when he got traded to Detroit. Then Olynyk, is another veteran that they could use. So I think that they're going to be a sneak-up team this year. Moving on to the Orlando Magic, B-. You drafted Paolo Banchero. I love Paolo. But you brought back Mo Bamba after all that drama. I mean, listen, I think they're going to be a really good team. Don't know how they're going to handle all that, though, but I think they're going to be a really, really solid team. Moving on to the New York Knicks, B-. You did too much. Trying to get Jalen Brunson. You moved heaven and earth just to try to get him. Now, I'm not saying I think he made the roster better, but I think you got worse defensively. Way worse defensively. But, hey, you got more picks. You got a lot of stuff that you did with I wanted the Pacers to do with all those guys. So, hey, you can't complain. But the Knicks are going to be an interesting team this year. Are they a playoff team? I don't think so. Moving on to the Bulls, B+. The Bulls need more front court depth. They added Andre Drummond. I think Drummond is a really good piece, one of the best backup bigs in the game. You added Goran Dragic, another guard, along with Caruso, along with Lonzo Ball, along with Kobe White, along with, I would assume you drafted Dalen Terry. You have too many guards. You got Zach LaVine already. Why do you need so many guards? I'm not sure on why you need so many guards on one team. But hey, that's what Billy Donovan does. All right, moving on to the Western Conference. I'm gonna try to do rapid fire because this video is gonna be way too long. All right, Phoenix Suns, D-. You did not get better. All you did was add Damian Lee and Josh Okogie, two guys who wanted to get rotational minutes. You were forced to overpay DeAndre Ayton. You're not maximizing Chris Paul's prime. He's not even in his prime. He passed his prime. You're not maximizing Chris Paul's window to win, nor are you maximizing your window as a franchise to finally win. So, D-. Golden State, A. I hate that they lost Gary Payton. I hate that they lost Otto Porter, but you replace it and you come back stronger. You're going to bring back James Wiseman. Remember, you have Kuminga. You have Jordan Poole. You add Dante DiVincenzo, a guy that you can have for the next 2 years. You add Jermichael Green, a guy that I really, really like. You draft Patrick Baldwin Jr., a guy that who's going to give him size. You bring back Looney, so I think they did a really good job. Grizzlies, B. I like that they brought back Tyus Jones. I like they were active in the draft, but I would have went out and I would have gotten aggressive for a different star. I'm gonna try to hurry up, guys. If the video cuts out of me, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me if the video cuts out. All right, the Grizzlies B, Mavericks B plus. I would have replaced Brunson by now. I would have talked to Brooklyn when they really hated Kyrie Irving, and I would have said, listen, you don't want Kyrie. Kyrie doesn't want you. I'll give you a first round pick. I'll give you 2 first-round picks and Tim Hardaway Jr. Maybe like a guy, another bad contract like Bertans. You can get a shooter, wing depth, and take those guys, unprotected picks in the future. Take those guys. Give me Kyrie for a year. You get Kyrie for a year. You get him with Christian Wood and JaVale McGee and Luka. That's a really good fit with Dorian Finney-Smith and Jaden Hardy. Overall, though, I would even went after Mike Conley or Colin Sexton or D'Angelo Russell or a guy like that. I would have went after DeJounte Murray before my Hawks got him. But it's okay. You drafted another guard, and Jaden Hardy, who I think could be really good. You added Christian Wood. You added JaVale McGee, some rim protection there. And hey, we will see how it goes. Clippers get an A plus. They did a phenomenal job. There's no question about it. Phenomenal job adding John Wall, bringing back key guys. And they just did a great job. They're an incredibly deep and talented team with PG and Kawhi already on their team. And when you add John Wall and you bring back some of the other guys, you get a chance to see Norman Powell and those guys mess with them. Moving on to the Nuggets. I gotta go quick, guys. I'm so sorry. Before this thing cuts out, going to the Nuggets. A. The Nuggets did an A. I think the Nuggets did a fantastic job. The biggest issue with them last season was they had no wing depth. Now you add KCP, nice defensive minded wing. You add Bruce Brown, defensive minded wing. You draft Christian Brown, and then and then you bring in Ish Smith, a guy I also think can come in and help contribute to them. Get Michael Porter, get Jamal Murray healthy with Jokic. You got a team that's trying to compete for a title. Moving on to the Timberwolves, A plus. At first, I did not like the price, the amount of draft capital and the amount of players that they gave up for Rudy Gobert, but I think that is really slowly growing on me. But that's not even what sold me to give them an A plus. What sold me to give them an A plus is the extra offseason additions that they made in free agency, adding Kyle Anderson, adding Austin Rivers, Bryn Forbes, Eric Pascal, bringing in AJ Lawson and bringing back Nathan Knight, along with Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Jalen Noel, Torian Prince, and Edwards and Gobert and Cat and D'Lo and those guys. This team is going to be really, really good. It's really, really deep, really, really good. Moving on to the Jazz. Depending on, I'm not going to even talk about the Jazz. Depending on which direction they go, they either get an F or A minus. Moving on to the Pelicans, A minus. I think that when you look at the season you had last year, adding CJ McCollum, now you're bringing back Zion with that. Now, not only add Zion, now you bring back a guy like Kira Lewis Jr., you got some other young guys, Herbert Jones, Trey Murphy, the Jose Alvarado. But then you add Dyson Daniels in that. Hopefully, EJ Liddell can get back healthy for them. If so, that's going to be a really scary team. That team is going to be great for years to come. They have a lot of draft capital. Moving on to the Sacramento Kings. The Kings, for once and all, are not looking mediocre. You finally look like you have a solid team. You have a 1-2 punch with Sabonis and Fox. You have a nice young defensive-minded guard and Davion Mitchell. You added shooters, and then you got a lot of front court depth. So I really like the way the Kings are looking, so they get an A minus. Moving on to the Portland Trail, but the same thing, A minus. I think that the retool worked for them. I think that when you look at their roster, they have some good size. In my opinion, they still need a better backup big instead of Drew Eubanks, but I guess you got a couple guys that can play backup big between Jabari Walker, Greg Brown, Trent, and Watford, along with Drew Eubanks. They're all 6'9". But I think one of the biggest things was adding Jeremy Grant. You got Damian Lillard to be Jeremy Grant and Damian Lillard. Those are going to be threats. And then you got Anthony Simons, Josh Hart. Nurkic is going to be really good. Then you added Gary Payton, Josh Hart. So, and then, bringing in Nasir, keeping Nasir Little, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson could be a really good fit. And then adding Shaedon Sharpe in the draft, a guy that I think can really also develop. So I think that their roster is looking really, really good, and they still have a little bit of draft flexibility. They have 2 trade exceptions they can use to continue to get better if they really, really need to. Moving on to the Lakers, B minus. You you added, you got a little bit better, but you still need front court depth. You still need quite a few more shooters. You got to get that. You gotta consolidate Russell, break up his contract, get shooters, and make that roster better. Continue to get better, or make the trade for Kyrie, and you'll get better that way. Moving on to the Thunder. Thunder did a great job. You get an A. I didn't like bringing that Mike Muscala. I don't like signing all those guys. You had to waive Isaiah Roby, guy I really liked. But then you get aggressive in the draft. Use those picks. You add Usamu Deng. You add Jalen Williams. Two Jalen Williams. You add Chet, along with Giddey and Lou Dort and Shea Gilchrist and those guys. So I think that team is looking really, really good. Then you look at the Rockets. The Rockets, in my opinion, did a pretty good job. I think they did really good in the draft. I think they could have got a better return for Christian Wood, but that pick turned into Ty Washington. You added Ty Washington. You added Tyree Eason. You added Jabari Smith. So I think you added some size there. You added some more playmaking there. Then lastly on the list, look at the San Antonio Spurs. I think they got a C+. That Murray trade. I'm not talking from a Hawks perspective. I'm not talking from a whatever perspective. That Murray trade, you could have done better. The unprotected picks are one thing. Yes, they're unprotected, so that means they can fall anywhere. But that does not mean that they're good picks. Those picks are going to be towards the end of the draft, and you did not pick up good, valuable picks. I would have picked up, if you wanted 3 first-round picks, I think 3 of them, 2 of them are unprotected. I would have wanted 27 and 29 unprotected. I would have taken Atlanta's 16th pick, and then I would have taken a swap in the same year. So, it just, or I'm sorry, I would have taken a swap in 28, first unprotected in 29, unprotected in 27, and then the 16th pick, but they did not do that. They got 25 and 27 unprotected, which shows their prime years with Trey and Murray and Collins and Hunter and Onyeka and Jalen Johnson and those guys. So we're going to be really good. We can maybe add another star by then. So those picks are not going to be very high. That Charlotte pick is heavily protected. It won't even convey. So that pick is not even ours. That swap will be really good in 2026. So the picks will likely stay the same. So it's kind of like a stagnant trade. In a way, the Hawks just lose a little bit of trade flexibility. But the reason you get a C+ is because you did draft well. I love Blake Wesley. I love Malachi Branham and Jeremy Sohan. Those guys are versatile. Those guys can score. All right. I've been doing a lot of rapid fire talking, guys. I will see you guys in my next video. I'm getting a drink of water back here. I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you all so much for watching. Drop in the comment section down below what you think about this video. Make sure you all hit the subscribe button. I was looking at some stats. I don't ask you all to subscribe, but please subscribe. I was looking at the stats and it says 79% of you guys are not subscribed. Please hit that subscribe button. You don't have to turn on the bell. Just hit the subscribe button. But I will see you guys in my next video. This one's going to take a while to upload, but I will see you guys in my next video. Have a good one.